Hi, I'm Mary Amy, and this is Living in the Light. And welcome, Astraya, priestess, creator of Sistars of Light, a goddess, and welcome and blessings to you.
Aw, thank you so much, Mary Amy. I'm just so honored to be here. Thank you for asking me to come on and just share with you, connect with you. It's been a while. I just love seeing you and love feeling your heart. So
Oh, me too.
honored to
And
be.
it's like I was trying to remember. I'm going back in time, and I think our original connection was something like 11 years ago or 12 years ago, and met via emails, and I think I reached out to you, and so we've had many conversations since then, and here I am bringing you forward so everyone can become acquainted with you, your lovely spirit and all your energy, and I'm so grateful that you're here with us today.
Oh, thank you, and thank you for reaching out all those years ago. It amazes me. It's just I'm in awe at how spirit connects. The sister tribe, and from day one, we just felt that intrinsic connection. We felt that from our spirit that yes, we need to connect and we need to share and we need to get on the same vibes.
Instant friends, you can tell. I speak of how you can automatically know when you come in contact with someone, and it could be just through the energy of an email or a voice, I guess. Well, so tell us your story and how you became this feminine priestess with ancient wisdom.
Yeah, it's so multi-layered. Quite it's quite a story, and there's so many layers to it, and I could go down so many different avenues with this. But what I will say is that I struggled in school. I struggled as a child to fit in. I struggled with feeling a part of a group. I felt an alien. For most of my childhood life, I felt indifferent. Um, I felt a lone wolf. And for a long time, I isolated and I retracted and I just observed. And I remained in this sort of like cocooning, like orb, I guess. I always felt protected. I always felt like I had this orb around me. But at the same time, I was curious. I was curious because I felt this indifference with just humanity as a whole. And it took me down a deep self exploration portal. It really was a portal. So from young, I had like this heightened sensitivity, this heightened psychic ability to tune into people, their souls, their feelings, their emotions, um, and that was kind of like, in a way, when I was younger, it was like my Achilles heel because I wanted to fit in, but then I also was like, oh, if it was so hypersensitive. Everything was hypersensitive, so it was quite a lot to manage at such a young age. And then when I started getting older and starting slowly to manage these sensitive gifts, I started experiencing adulthood and then womanhood. And the same thing, I still had this reservation to fully like step in and fully expose myself just in case I would be judged, ridiculed, taken away from the group. And I didn't know at the time what all of that meant, because there's a lot more to it that I didn't understand back then when I was very, very young. I just was kind of just fumbling around with all like these hypersensitive gifts and like, how do I manage this? But deep down, I also had this knowing, I had this remembrance, I had this intuitive longing that I was sent here and I had a huge undertaking ahead of me. I felt it from the age of 7 that there was something big for me to create here on this planet. And I just kept diving into that through astrology, through numerology, very, very young. I was very curious and very explorative. And then as I started to develop and get older, I experienced bullying. I experienced bullying from other women. I experienced jealousy. I experienced so much adversity. And not only with women, with men too. And I always had this ability to connect with their soul. And I always felt like a sadness within them. And I was curious to understand, why this is all happening. Anyway, fast forward, and I'm going to link this piece to being, bullied and taken away from the group to when I was about 20 years old. And at this point now, I have been exploring numerology, exploring astrology, exploring Reiki, and starting to develop my gifts. And I feel this deep, deep calling from Gaia, from Mother Earth. Like she literally spoke to me. She spoke to my womb. She spoke to my heart. It was like a rupture, a rumble. And I was actually out in a rock red desert just off Las Vegas at a women's retreat. And I had this deep, deep, powerful call. And I heard a strong message like, you are chosen to heal, to guide, to awaken the feminine consciousness here on the planet. And up until then, I realized that I had not fully anchored into my physical body. It was kind of like this just awakening light that it's time to come home into your body. It's time to come home into your womb. It's time to come home and to connect to the roots of Mother Earth. Like, I'm calling you. I need you. Like, I fully need your attention. And from that moment on, it was just a continuous quest of diving into Mother Earth, like the womb wisdom of Mother Earth. And I started receiving these just invitations as well from mentors, women all over the planet. It was just like this calling. I would be Googling online, because at that time I was just curious. I wanted to learn. What is this womb wisdom? What is this womb awakening? Why am I having this deep call in my womb it was just like this waking up from a deep slumber. And I started to develop these connections with women overseas just by emailing them and reaching out to them, being open to connecting with them. And one of them particularly, we deeply connected. And I ended up going out to Costa Rica and was working at a divine feminine womb retreat. And through this exploration, I developed a deep, deep connection to the cosmic womb of Gaia. And I had several initiations through my own womb awakening, and also coming into this healing reconciliation with the sisterhood wound. And I realized I was in Costa Rica, I realized that the thread of me when I was very, very young to 20 years down the line, that bullying, that ostracization was actually a deep, deep wound within my priestess lineage, where I had served as a priestess and where I was seen as a threat, and my gifts were seen as a threat. I was literally taken out of groups, out of villages. I was stoned to death. I have seen several past lives of where I have lived in shamanic cultures and have been offering medicine to the village, and that was not okay. That was, if you were seen with those gifts, you were killed, you were destroyed. And even when I talk about it, it's so deeply rampant. I can feel it in my throat, even when I'm talking to you. Those memories never really go away. Like they live within your DNA, and it's a deep, deep wound. And when I had that awareness, I was just really like blown away how, you know, there's ancestral suffering, and there's ancestral pain, and there's ancestral threads that we're all deeply connected to, and it lives within our DNA, and it lives within our body. And that really woke me up to the vastness of how deep this work is, and how I felt called to be a guardian in a way, you know. And every woman has these gifts. It's not just me. I just happen to have had been guided along a path through other feminine leaders, through other feminine um, way showers, light workers, queens, oracles. It was a part of my destiny. It was a part of my dharma to meet those women, to activate my womb, to initiate my remembrance, because this is all it is just a remembrance. It's a remembrance of the feminine wisdom that lives within our womb space. And I also want to just preface that, you know, the feminine goes beyond gender. You know, it's not just about female and male. You know, men have an energetic womb called a hara, and they are connected to their womb power. I will say, like, you know, if we have the biological anatomy of a womb too, then as a woman, you are so deeply connected to how we birth, die, gestate, and birth all over again, because you have to go through the birthing chamber of giving birth to a child. Yet through womb wisdom, we can give birth to several creative projects. It's not about just having babies, you know. So and you know, as that evolved, I started to really tap in to my creative magnetic power. And when I really dove deep into the mystery teachings of the womb, I started to birth like my mission. I started to birth my projects. I started to birth my programs. I started to channel information from lineages, my matriarchal line, medicine women, and they started to assist me in my channeling. They started to help me to birth uh, my projects, and it's just been an ongoing journey. And it's a spiral, you know. It's like you continuously are spiraling, and you're continuously looping, and you're continuously moving up. Sometimes when we're healing, it can feel like we're going down, but we're never going down. We're going up, and we just keep looping, and we keep spiraling, and we keep ascending, and we'll keep looping back to those traumas, to those patterns, to those reactions, until we become neutral to a state of the next octave of our ascension, awakening here on the planet. And so my path just happened to be feminine awakening, womb wisdom, womb healing. But from very, very young, it was, my visions were very angelic. They were very astral related. They were very starseed related. I had many encounters with other civilizations. And it, you know, I as I was ascending and going up and up and up and up, I realized, and I was like 20, I'm like, oh my God, I've lived so much of my life outside of my body. It's time to come down now. It's time to be the atonement. It's time to be the bridge. It's time to anchor all of this expansion into the physical vessel, because the physical vessel is what we have now in this 3D platform. Because it is a game, you know, we are playing this game, and we do have to learn how to be grounded and embodied. And what I love about the feminine teachings is she is all about that. She's all about bringing you down, descending into the body, being here now, and being that alchemical vessel to self deconstruct what is in the way, empty ourselves out, like, which is that beautiful portal of the womb, like that void still space, so that we can rebirth ourselves and the extension of Gaia. We are no different than her. Everything that she is going through, we are going through too. It's like everything that Mother Earths go through, we go through the same. Like, there's no in between. Like, we are not separate from her. And again, what I love about the feminine teachings is she humbles us. She humbles us to be so deeply primal with Mother Earth, to be so deeply awake, listening. Like our oracle opens when we connect to the feminine. Our oracle kind of pulses, you know. And again, like, yeah, I could talk about this for forever, but I'll pause there. Yeah.
I love hearing your story, and you know, it's definitely your energy is affecting me, and it always has, and it was I just went through a whole I just went through a whole lot hearing you, from it having a reaction to me where I got goosebumps, and then just my own, like, it kind of helped me observe my own story, which I thank you for sharing that just now, and reflecting on where I'm going. And I'm sure that everyone out there is going to have some kind of um, impression that you're going to leave on them. So you've accomplished so much, and it's dance, it's yoga, it's a Reiki master, it's a crystal healer, a massage therapist,
Mhm.
and of course, goddess priestess. Um, what kind of mindset have you allowed for all of these creative endeavors to come to fruition?
That's a big question. Oh my goodness.
Okay, nutshell or big answer. It's up to you.
Oh, yeah, no, I love it. I think that this is a really good one because, mm, it requires, it's an ongoing self-evolving
Mhm.
refinement of one's vessel. And I say vessel because we have to go through the body. We have to be here in the body. Everything that I have learned, I go through the body first. I ask my body to show my mind. So the body leads. The body has led me to where I am today. The body does not lie. The mind can send you on several several detours, and I've done those detours. Um, and what I've learned again with the feminine is that she takes you down and in, and she doesn't she doesn't put up with any bullshit. She's quite that fierce mother when she shakes out her cubs, and she just gives them it's just like this feline fierce goddess that just will not take anything lower than sovereignty, because she is the embodiment of love. And what I have found through every program or every mentorship or every creation that I birth, there's an initiation that I have to literally go through my body, and it is not easy. Like, it spits me out dry. I get shooken up, and I'm rebirthed. And there is this refinement, there is this discernment that is purified through my vessel. My heart is purified. My soul is kind of taken up a notch within, like, the consciousness of my vibratory field. And so every creation that I birth, I have to embody its teachings before I can fully teach it.
Hmm.
And sometimes I'll be taken completely out and offline and unplugged. I'll be completely taken out. There's an unplugging that happens for me to go deeper into the humility into the embodied surrender of trusting love and trusting faith and trusting the creator all over again. And so every time that happens, I have to fully give up my identity. There's a dying off of my identity. And every creation that I've birthed into the world, there's a death, just like, you know, when we give birth to a child. It's not easy. When you push out that baby, it's like you're broken. It's like your pelvis is broken, and then it expands, and then it repairs itself, and then it's just like this freaking miracle that comes out of you. This living being, this soul that you just birthed. And then once it's out into the world, then there's this whole nother extension of you that you have to milk, you have to feed, you have to make sure that it's going to stay nourished, because there's a double you, there's a mini you, and then that goes through its own evolution, and then you have to pull back and give it space. And again, there's another death that happens. You have to let go. Now what does this new soul spirit wish to create? It has its own dharma. So yeah, it's very, very empowering. It takes all of me, every single like tiny little atom of me. Sometimes I'm like, ugh, really? You know, I have to pick myself up and go through the trenches. And, you know, there's definitely questioning. There's definitely, oh, what the fuck, can I really do this? You know, and then when we fully let go, when we fully, fully, fully surrender, when we give ourselves to the creator, that's when the magic happens. You know, that's when the magic happens. If you ever follow me, you'll see like I shapeshift every 6 months. I look completely different every 6 months. That seems to be a thread of mine. And it's just because I fully allow myself to die with no agenda. And that's the embodiment of the feminine teachings: death and rebirth, death and rebirth, death and rebirth, death and rebirth. And every cocooning that we go into is a preparation for the next ushering of the greatest masterpiece that the creator has placed on your heart to birth through you. And your only sacred responsibility is to devote yourself fully to it, and to have faith, and to just get out of the way. When we can complicate things, when we overanalyze, what does this need to look like? How do I need to do this? You just have to follow the steps, each step, slow it down, breathe. Simplicity is like the greatest ally of mine. If I am overwhelmed, I just slow it down, I breathe, and I go into my ritual. I go into like, what is my inner oracle need right now? What does my heart need? What does my womb need? What is going to serve my body today? And so that's the listening. That's the discernment of getting so deeply still to hear, to listen. Because oftentimes we're so distracted in this world. We're so distracted by so much that's going on. And there's a lot going on right now, if you haven't noticed.
You think?
There's a lot going on, and I feel like, for me, like, if we were all just slow down, fully slow down and listen, there would be a lot that would be shared with you. But we're so afraid. We're so afraid to slow down, because what am I going to hear? Am I going to be able to control that? And all I can say is, like, you have to go through the discomfort to come out on the other side. You have to be able to be okay with feeling messy, shitty, uncomfortable, because that is the rebirth. And there is a death happening in our world right now. There's a collective death, there's a collective rebirth, and it is by divine design. Everything that's happening is by divine design. There is a holy higher plan, and we can either suffer and question everything about it, or we can choose to have faith and ascend gracefully through it. And that's on you. And every single soul, I believe, on this planet right now, there are a certain group of souls that are choosing to be here. They signed up, they opted in, they're very clear that they're here through the long haul. And then there are other souls that are not here for the long haul, and that's okay. And that's where we practice compassion, that's where we practice grace, because we're all on this unique assignment. Individually, none of us are cookie cutted. We're all a unique fingerprint, and we all have our own unique destined blueprint on this earth. And it's trusting it. And the more you slow down, the more you rest. Because right now, our body of the earth is exhausted. Everybody is deeply, deeply exhausted. That's why there's so much destruction happening, because there's nowhere else to go. We have to go down in order to rise back up. And the light has already won.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I've spoken to you many times, and I guess it never hit me how very sensitive, extraordinarily sensitive that you are, and you just relaying your ways. You said your rituals, and I feel, I know how graceful you are, and I really appreciate you giving this information to everyone and sharing this with everyone today. So thank you. Thank you. I read in your bio, and I must have known this already, but then I was reminded of it, that you had a near-death experience at 2. And would you like to share what kind of experience that was, or what happened after that, and how did that affect you?
Yeah, it happened very unexpectedly. It was a tragic accident that happened in my garden. and I'll just go straight to the message, because
Mm-hmm.
physical, right? It's really the message. What is the message that needs to be conveyed here? And sometimes we can get lost in the physical dimension of how it happened and what happened. And so I'll just give you the vision that I kept on receiving for 20 odd years after that. And I will never forget yeah, I'm 2.5. So there's just this vision. I'm flawed that I still remember this vision, but this vision imprinted on me. Everything else I forgot, because the trauma of that experience, your body will just shut down. There'll be doors that'll close, but there was this vision, and I remember seeing the ambulance lights and 3 blue beings hovering above me. And I remember just squeezing my father's hand. And I kept having this dream, and like just reoccurring dream all the time throughout my whole like teenage years, growing up to 23.
Mm-hmm.
And these blue beings, they didn't say a lot. They didn't need to. And this is the beauty of unconditional love, like when you truly feel unconditional love, you don't need words to feel that. You don't need words. And when we are on the spirit realm and we're in the fifth dimension operates in energy, in it's like sound, it's like kind of, yeah, it's just like this beautiful angelic notes, these angelic frequencies, these higher soft, it's really difficult for me to express it in physical words, because it's just so beyond the physical dimension. And what they conveyed to me and what they showed me was, we're here for you, and we are so deeply concerned with your planet and humanity. We deeply love you. We are committed to your ascension, committed to your awakening. I'm getting goosies as I share this, because the love was so palpable. I've never felt love like that in my entire life. And they were just so incredibly beautiful. I mean, they were just hovering above me, these beautiful blue orb-like beings. And I remember seeing vaguely their eyes and their faces, and they were just so soft and so gentle, and just, it was just exquisite. And for several years, whenever I would have this vision, I'd be sobbing, I'd be crying, because I felt so deeply seen. I felt so deeply at home. I felt like the deepest of belonging in their eyes. And they carried me through that trauma. I know that they came to me to hold my soul through that trauma. And they also came to me because I chose to remember. I chose to remember the full awakening of human consciousness. I chose to remember at a young age because I was here to develop my psychic skills. We all have psychic ability. And if you're afraid of that word, then we can call it intuition, right? Be mindful of what words trigger you, because if a word triggers you, it has the most charge, because it has somewhere there's a wound there, and there's a gate. There's a gate there. If you have a trigger for something, there's a gate and there's power on the other side, and it's your responsibility to unlock it. And they showed me many things. I went on several journeys with them, and it was interesting, because as I started to get a little bit older, I mean, I was obsessed with the stars. I was obsessed. I would just go out into the garden when I was younger, lay on my back, and I could just stay there all night, It was the stars in the ocean. Many times I drowned in the bath. My mom had to come upstairs and be like, "Are you okay?" The stars in the ocean, those two bodies of elemental wisdom was home for me. And home was always a big issue. That was a big issue of mine, that I struggled to find home until I found the goddess, and she helped to just like anchor me. Be here now, Astraya. Be here now. Be in your body. You are the bridge. You are the bridge of heaven on earth. I'm like, oh my goodness! Like, if you could have told me that when I was like 7 years old, that would have been wonderful. But I had to go the long haul, I have to go the long haul. Where is home? Are they gonna just come and get me? And I bring this humor in because we need that humor. We need that. We need humor. We need to stay in your joy. If anything, stay in your joy, because your joy is gonna feed you. It's the pulse. It's also your guiding light. I always say, if you're ever wondering, what's my purpose? Why am I here? Why am I here in the midst of this intense collapse here on earth? Just listen to your joy and just follow your highest inspiration, because there's a superpower inside your inner child. And your inner child just carries so much incredible wisdom. So I always say, like, connect to your inner child. Ask him or her what is his or her greatest joy. What lights her up? What lights him up? What is your, where are you and when are you the most inspired? And what were your most happiest moments? And those are like, they're just like supernova keys to opening up a galaxy of liberation and limitless peace and happiness for you. And sometimes we just forget because we can be dumb sometimes, you know, we can just forget. We forget. We're just, we just repeat like record players. We just keep going and going and going. And whenever I'm in like a lock or hook with a trigger or trauma, memory, pain body, I'm like, okay, I'll just slow everything down and I'll go to my greatest joy, which is often my imagination. And you just have to look at children for that. I mean, the way in which they respond so quickly to pain, and they just brush themselves down and they just like back up and like, okay, let's, when we're back in the present moment, I'm like, yes, that's superpower. That's a superpower. And we have that ability. We just have to tap in and soften ourselves to this moment, to this presence. Because we can be scrambling for information and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. What matters is this moment. What matters is this moment. Sometimes we get lost. We get lost in the future. We get lost in even in goals. It's great to have goals, but if that's all you have, then what about now? Where's your gratitude practice? Where's your ritual practice? Come into the moment, because often than not, if you're here watching this video and you have internet, you have a roof over your head, you have maybe a little drink, you're doing pretty good. You know, like there are some people out in this world that do not have those things.
Right.
They do not have the internet. They do not have light. They can't even afford to pay for their next meal. And this is where humility comes in. This is where the teachings of Christ come in. It's like, be kind to your neighbor as you would to yourself. Love your neighbor as you would to humble yourself. Humility, 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 humility. This has been one of my greatest teachings this year. You know, because there's so much happening. And if we've signed up to this earth schoolroom, we have to be in the body. And we need to know how to play this game. And you are being called to make yourself harder to kill. That is my mantra right now. I am harder to kill. Because there's a lot of forces at work that have agendas. And you have sovereignty over your being. Nobody can heal you better than you, because you know yourself more than anybody else. And when we quiet the mind, we drop into the heart, and we let the body lead, we are more powerful than you can ever realize. But you have to claim dominion over your body, over anybody else who tries to even think that they can control you, manipulate you. Like, you call that. That is your dominion. That is your spiritual authority. That is your clarion call to sacred responsibility, to how you maneuver through this world. And if you do not have sovereign spiritual authority, especially in this day and age, you're not going to get very far. And I just say that as it is, you know, because there are certain messages that just need to be said just like that, because this is the times that we're living in. And if you're still here, you're more than capable than you realize. You're more than capable than you realize. And you have to trust that you're here because there's a bigger contribution you signed up for. There's a bigger impact that you chose when you incarnated into this human body. Yeah.
I was going to ask you a few questions, and it's almost like you heard me and you answered them. I was going to ask you about what is the priestess path, and I think you've demonstrated that. You've told us kind of have guts, more or less, right? Is there some kind of demonstration, or hold on one second, sorry about that.
Worries. We've got a clarion call coming in.
Hey, I'm doing an interview. That's my landline. It's like you have to unplug everything. So, I mean, people don't know when exactly I'm doing this. So would you like to do some kind of demonstration, or is there something you would want to, some kind of message you want to share? Whatever you sense is what's important right now in this moment.
Let's have a feel. Yeah, there's so many things. There's so many ways. I think we need to like carve out another 2 hours. That's my Virgo coming in for like being so devoted to service. I think, why don't we just get into our bodies? Let's do that.
Thank you. What, as soon as it's like that's the message I got. All of a sudden I did when I closed my eyes when you did this, and I saw waves at a beach, and all of a sudden I just felt at peace. Because like you said earlier, it's about do. It's about always, what about not just, let's pause here.
Absolutely. Yeah, so if you're watching, go ahead and close your eyes. And just bring your hands down onto your thighs or into your lap. And you can go ahead and maybe rub your thighs just to bring some awareness to your body. Maybe squeeze your thighs, squeeze your knees. Just bring your awareness to this beautiful, beloved temple vessel that is your physical being. This physical conduit that carries you through this life. And if there's a body part that you feel guided to go towards that maybe feels a little bit neglected, maybe abandoned, that's crying out for a little love, a little support, a little holding, I'd like you to place your hand there. Maybe it's your heart or your womb or your throat or your ears, your head, yeah. And just go ahead and just bring your consciousness to that body part. Bring your heart into the contact of where your hands were placed on your body. We're going to invite the breath here. And we're going to invite a full box count breath. So I'm just going to share with you what we'll do. We'll inhale for 4. We'll hold for 4 at the heart. And then we'll exhale for 4. So we inhale for 4 counts all the way up to the heart space. We hold at the heart space, and then we exhale all the way down to the lower belly. So when you're ready, exhale all the air out of your lungs. And we're going to inhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause and hold the breath right at the top of the heart. Hold for 4, 3, 2, 1. And exhale out through the mouth, nice and slow and gentle for 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Inhale from the belly now. Inhale belly all the way up. 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause and hold at the heart space for 4, 3, 2, 1. And exhale out through the mouth for 4, 3, 2, 1. Last breath. Inhaling for 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause and hold at the heart space for 4, 3, 2, 1. And exhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathing in normally and exhale normally. And just notice what's happening in your body. Notice if there's any releasing happening, any subtle changes happening. And bring your awareness to your feet. And just feel your feet firmly planted on the earth. And then bring your awareness to your womb. And you're going to imagine a beautiful red rose at the base of your womb. And you're going to visualize it spinning on an axis, clockwise direction. And see it blooming and glowing, beautiful red scarlet ray at the womb. And as it spins, it's glowing, a brighter and brighter scarlet ray. That rose blooming beauty way, the path of the priestess, the path of your own very womb awakening. And as it opens and blooms, it sends a beautiful scarlet ray all the way down through your womb, down into the seat beneath you, down through the earth's surface layer. And at the speed of light, it sends that scarlet ray all the way down into the center of Mother Earth's core. And that ray wraps itself around a gorgeous, divine crystal waiting to ground you and magnetically connect you to Gaia. And that ray wraps itself around the crystal in a figure of 8 direction 3 times. And as it locks into that infinity 8 third loop, you feel your tailbone descend down. You feel this magnetic reconnection to Gaia. And you hear her voice say, welcome home, beloved. I am here to hold you in the deepest cocooning of your awakening here on earth. It is wonderful to hear you, to feel you, and to meet you in this way. May you trust my holding. May you trust my rebirthing. May you trust my anointing now. And as you feel that lock, that magnetic flow of Gaia's womb, you breathe that scarlet ray in all the way from the depths of Gaia, breathing in her crystalline core all the way up through that scarlet ray of light, breathing in through the nose. And exhale out through the mouth. Feeling that pulsation of energy with that scarlet ray from your womb within your physical body to the womb within Gaia's body. And on every inhale, you feel that pulse. You feel that vibratory field, that primordial womb power connecting you. And this overwhelming presence of a homecoming just runs up and through your spine. And all the way back down into Gaia. We're just going to pause here for a few moments. Just resting in her energy, resting in this feminine womb, wise, healing waters of Gaia's intelligence. I'd like you to just deeply listen. What is the message that she has for you today? If the womb of this earth could share a message for you, what would it be? And rather than push to hear it, it may not be in words, and that's okay. Okay. Maybe it's a feeling. Maybe it's an awareness in your body. Keep breathing, inhaling through the nose and exhaling out through the mouth. One more breath, inhale and exhale out. What would her message be? What is her sacred gift that she wishes to share with you today? And when you feel complete in hearing the voice of Gaia's womb, I'd like for you to, in your own way, just acknowledge her, maybe bringing your hands into prayer, or maybe offering a gift. Maybe you could offer her flowers or something sentimental to you, where you are giving back to this affluent, opulent, ever generous vessel that is overflowing, pouring into humanity 365 days a year. She does not stop giving. What could you give back to her today? It could be a simple message of, I love you, thank you. Maybe it's a vision that you would like to see for the world. Take a few more moments here to offer your gift. And when you feel complete with your gift, I'd like for you to place one hand on your heart and one hand on your womb to seal this sacred prayer. And this divine knowing of reconnection from your very own sacral womb to the womb of Gaia. and just know that you can come here at any moment in time. And then very, very slowly, we unlock the Infinity 8 spiral, and we travel all the way back up through our awareness, up the scarlet ray of light, traveling all the way back up, beyond the ocean, up, beyond the earth layers, up, 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 up. Follow that light up through your surface layer of your room that you are in right now, up into the seat beneath you, and up into the womb, bringing your awareness back to that rose, and spiraling backwards and inwards in the opposite direction from how you bloomed out of that rose, and back up and through your belly button, feeling your hand on your womb, feeling your hand on your heart, and just humbly giving thanks to these two sacred feminine gateways. Deep breath in, and deep breath out. When you're ready, you can slowly and gently open your eyes.
That was lovely. Thank you. That was lovely. That was a great experience. Thank you. Wow. Thank you. So before we go, would you like to share some of the services you offer and how everyone can reach you?
Yeah, you can reach me on Sisters of Light on Instagram. So just reach out to me. You can send me a message, say hi. And you can reach me on my website, astraya.org. And at the moment, I am currently in a very deep creative portal. So I've been through my death portal this year, and yeah, I'm in a deep, deep creative portal. So I've just, at the moment, I'm offering one-on-one. I do have a few spaces, but not a lot. But I am opening for a few. And just watch this space because there's a lot of creations being birthed. I like to follow the cycles of nature, and I follow my intuition when it comes to birthing. So, and I move slow. I'm not impulsive when it comes to creating. I like to take my time. I like to honor the gestation period. So, yeah, but I'd love to connect with you, even if you just reach out to me. Instagram, I'd love to connect. And yeah, help you birth whatever it is that you are birthing.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And we will be in touch, you and I, and blessings to you. And you are just a ray of light. You are able to, I think, well, I know, help humanity to just take a moment and realize everything that we've been given and how much gratitude that we should have.
Oh, thank you. It's such an honor to be here with you. Thanks for listening. Love you all. Sending you all so much love and blessings.
Thank you so much, Astraya.